So after have a general idea of what a histogram is, so basically it just represents as the y-axis as the frequency or the count of any data items that we're interested in, and then we just place them under different successive numerical intervals of equal sizes. And next, let's head back to our next graph, which is our bar plot. So what is a bar plot? You may say like, oh, the bar plot looks very similar to a histogram because it always uses rectangular and it always uses different same sizes of intervals. Well, a bar plot shows the relationship between a numerical and a categorical variable. So a bar plot can also display values for several levels of grouping. With this kind of information, it is possible to build a grouped bar plot. So say for example, here we have a grouped bar plot. So basically the x-axis is the year. So basically we have here, here, and here, we have three groups. And then the y-axis is also the counts of the numerical data that we are interested in. And then noticing that these, we have the different four categories, which is corresponding to our categorical variable. So say, for example, we have in 2000 year, Ashley has a number of baby of these amounts. And then the whole, like the idea of doing a bar plot is that we can do a compare with different groups. So say, for example, we're going to compare all those four together, and it's very vividly because compared to a table, because right here we can tell like in 1920 something, Helen has the most, the amount of babies here, while only in 2000 year, the Helen has only these amounts, which is basically equals to nothing, while Ashley catches up. So this is very vivid and lively compared to tables. We can imagine how do we put all those only numbers like between these different countries. So right here, the bar plot's whole idea is to do a comparison. All right, so let's jump back to our Jupyter notebook to see how Matplotlib can help us create all those graphs. So in our bar plot example, we're still going to use the data frame, which is the PD we created for our previous code. And then we can plot the bar chart for a numerical values. In comparison will be shown between all three categories, which is age, income, and sales. So remember our bar plot or the bar charts, the very basic idea behind those charts are to do a comparison. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to plot a bar chart. It is very nicely here. We can use this simple line of code to do a bar chart for all the numerical attributes. So pandas or the data frames has this very nice plot.bar function that we can use. And then next, we're going to say the plt.x label and the plt.y label. So these two lines basically goes to our Matplotlib family. And this generates the x-axis and then the y-axis labels for us. So say, for example, we have the employee ID index here ranging from 0 to 9. And then we have our values, which is here, basically the counts of the numerical data we are interested in. And then this is categorized by each individual employee. So from these numbers, we can see, like, say, for example, employee number 1, which is our 002 employee, has the most income, and then the sales number is around the average form, and then the age, she's pretty like, or she or he is the pretty like in the typical range of the age. He's not too young or too old. And then say, for example, while here in this number 8 employee, we have like he sells around here, while his income only becomes like relatively low, and then the age is around in the reasonable range. So comparing these two groups, you may wonder, why is the results, say for example, the sales remains kind of the same and the age remains kind of the same, why the incomes are such a huge gap? You may wonder, right? So remember, there's other two different columns in the table. One of them is the BMI. So maybe BMI, this factor, has to do something with how incomes performs. So these are pretty interesting insights that we can get from the bar plots. And you may also wonder, what if we just don't want all those three categories come in the same graph? What if we want just two categories, or any subsets of the three categories? No worries, we can do it really simple. We can plot simply between two attributes. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna jump into our Matplotlib family, and then we're just using this .bar function here. So say here, we just want to say how sales and then age are relating to each other. So that's why we only plot these two attributes. So basically, the first elements are the ones that we're interested in. The second elements is another elements that we're interested in. So basically here, in this graph, we're just having like age versus sales. And then we can also give it the X label name, which is the age, and then the Y label name, which is the sales. And then we just use this kind of code to show this plot for us. So basically, this piece of code indicates a very nice template for us to use the Matplotlib function as well. So the first step is to use, or just to call the function. And then the next will be given the labels. So X labels and Y labels. And then always remember to show the graph. Okay, so here's the templates. So first is to call the function. Second is to give the X labels and Y labels name. And then the very last one is to show the graphs for us. And then this simply, we can go for age and sales, or age and then income, and sales and income. I'll leave those for you guys to play around it by yourself.